Hello everyone, here is CNN live for the Democratic presidential debate before the first primaries in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina that will happen next week. We will have today here the three most popular candidates according to our internal polls. We have Governor John Campbell of Pennsylvania.
Good evening.
We have Congressman Juan Veranos of San Antonio, Texas.
Good evening.
And we have Senator Tyrese Washington.
Good evening, America.
So these three candidates are the main favorites. We also invited Senator Bookwalter, but she had a very big familiar issue that many of you are aware. Her wife had an accident, a car accident, so she unfortunately is not here today. But we have these three amazing candidates that lead the polls, and we'll see what are their plans for future and for America. So, starting off, I randomized, and the first is going to answer my question is Governor Campbell of Pennsylvania. Governor, COVID pandemic is the current topic that opens the news here in America and everywhere in the world. What is your plan for COVID pandemic? What is your plan?
The first part is we need to drop the numbers of the COVID deaths and cases. We need to do that by wearing our masks, stop mass events, and work hard on a corona vaccine to solve this problem. After the COVID threat is over, we need to rebuild our economy. We need to reschool our unemployed citizens, and we need to work on that they can work again, and that the companies can build up and have valuable workforces that are rightly schooled to work at their facilities. So we can build up again after the vaccine, but we need the vaccine, and before the vaccine we need to stay in our homes at the most possible. Only work, not go to mass events, wear our masks, and we need to solve this pandemic and lower the numbers. That's the most important thing we need to do first. And after that, we need to work on a global, an America that is united and needs to work on this topic of COVID threats and not polarizing it and some wearing masks and some not. That was my opinion about this.
Thank you, Governor. Congressman Veranos, what the topic of COVID is strictly polarized right now. We have political debates about wearing masks, about if we should do a public investment or not in the vaccination efforts, in the research. So, what's your opinion on the matter? Should we politize and debate it between the parties and between the people in the parties these solutions, or should we find another way of solving this problem? You have 1 minute and a half.
I think COVID shouldn't be a political issue. We should be listening to our experts, and we should be looking toward the bottom line of what the experts have, and we should be considering what the risks are that we are willing to take. For example, for sports, we should not want people to be there, but we should be willing to take the risk of having sports teams be infected in a way. But we need the entertainment that these provide, because people's happiness, people's mental well-being is also a very important subject during COVID. So we should definitely be looking to improve that as well. It isn't just a physical issue, COVID. I think we should not be underestimating that.
Thank you, Congressman Veranos. So, Senator Washington, COVID has the president of the United States, Donald Trump, said that COVID was not going to infect anyone. He said in the start of the campaign that there were going to be 10 or maybe 20 people infected and nothing more in February. And now he still refuses to use mask. We have seen the president only once wearing a mask. He refused it. He says it should be the state's option to decide if people should use masks or not. What is your opinion about the response that Donald Trump gave to the COVID pandemic, and what's your opinion about the masks? Should they be mandatory, or should every state select their policies? You have 1 minute and a half.
Our nation is suffering from COVID due to the mistakes made by the current Republican president. Our economy is suffering greatly, but most importantly, our citizens are suffering. The total death rate has exceeded 400,000, and states like Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina are suffering the most. If our nation were to take the right steps, many thousands of people could be spared from the ravages of COVID-19 moving onwards. We need to improve the delay on testing, but first and foremost, we need to make the usage of masks universal, and we need to do it quickly. I don't think the importance of masks can be questioned at this point. I think masks should be universal for sure.
And would you do it mandatory? So should be enforced by law? Yes? Okay.
Yes, the current Republican president has shown confusion on the importance of wearing masks, the dangers of large gatherings, the potential of untested treatments, the availability of testing, and the basic matter of who's in charge of what in the pandemic response. I'm here to make you aware of the only measures we should absolutely take, and those are masks being essential and mandatory, and social distancing being a civic responsibility. The virus isn't going away anytime soon, but we can get it under control quickly if we work together.
Thank you, Senator Washington. I think our viewers know better now your position about COVID, so we will advance to the next topic. And starting off with Congressman Veranos, the topic is going to be education and university debt in concrete. So, Congressman Veranos, more than 60% of the Americans that go out of college right now have a debt that they will not be able to pay in the first 10 years of working, says one study that was published recently. What is your solution to this? First of all, is this a big problem? And second of all, what's your solution for these students to have a good university education and don't have these big amounts of debts? You have 1 minute and a half.
It is a huge problem for our country. Something like education should be accessible to everyone, and it completely goes against the American dream that people are trying to progress but are being put down by the system. We should be helping them instead, and it will be a very expensive project, but we should fund a lot of the student fees that are being paid. And of course not a complete funding, because that is simply something the government can't quite afford. But we should be looking into making it as opportunistic as this country is. We should be looking to make a great workforce with a lot of knowledge, because that is the way that we can progress as an America.
Thank you, Congressman Veranos. Now going to Senator Washington. Senator, America is certainly a place where the university that you take your grade of matters. It's not the same when you take it in universities with lower reputation or universities with bigger reputation. And usually, the biggest the reputation of the university is, the biggest fee you should pay for it. Do you think this system is fair, or would you change something on this system to make it more equilibrated and more based in other criteria than the money that people have in their pockets? You have 1 minute and a half.
What was the fucking question? Excuse me, what was the question?
The question, Senator Washington, was: do you think it's fair to have to pay more to go to the universities with bigger reputation, or do you think this system is fair, or would you make something to change it?
I do think it's fair. Obviously, for a higher education, a better norm of education, you're going to pay more money. I think that's the case with most things in life. But I don't think the overall fee of or like give our people a possibility of repaying the fee easier. And because of that, I'm proposing limiting tuition rates at public colleges, or increasing grant aid and tuition waivers for low and moderate income students, offering incentives for businesses to provide student loan repayment benefits and tuition assistance, or restricting access to federal loan funds for public and private higher education institutions with a history of poor outcomes for students. I think that's the best way we're going to tackle the university debt and make sure our people don't have a massive amount of student loan debts in the future.
Thank you, Senator Washington. Governor Campbell, you you had a long term as governor of Pennsylvania. What did you made in Pennsylvania that you think should be made in the rest of the country regarding university debt? You have 1 minute and a half.
The first part we did in Pennsylvania was we created a system to give students who really needed a scholarship. This scholarship is based on their living situation, their family situation, the financial situation of all their family they live in. That's what we need to do first. We need to give them a scholarship, and that needs to be in the whole of America, so that everyone gets the right to study and that everyone can get a student loan and get the lower fee to study at the universities. The second part of my plan is, I didn't get it through in Pennsylvania yet, but the second part is we need to give rent-free loans from the state out, so they can they can loan from the states and from the states of America, and they can pay it off in a gradually term that they can work out during their work life. And the third part of my plan is to solve this problem is giving subsidies to the schools, to the universities, so they can lower their registration fees for the students at the universities. So we need to drop these rates. The biggest problem at the moment is that more than 10% of the students in the United States have a debt that's higher than 50,000 euros for studying at the universities. That's way too high. We need to lower that number. We need to lower the registration fees at the high schools, the fees for living there. It needs to be lowered so everyone gets the right to study there and gets the same chances in this society.
Thank you, Governor. So I think this first part was very useful to understand some of these candidates' position. As we are going actually fast, we will start the second part without a stop. I don't know if some of you have a complaint about it, but we are going...
What about the crisis in Syria?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the third topic. You're right. No, yeah, I was going to do the stop here, but yeah, so, we can go to Syria crisis now. Okay, so third topic is we are very informed in the last few months about this situation in Syria. The ISIS is basically defeated, but Syria is still in a civil war with the Kurdish, the anti-Bashar al-Assad faction, and the ISIS all fighting in the same territory, trying to get power. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has said several times lately that he is a friend of Bashar al-Assad. He even traveled to Syria, and that's not a thing Vladimir Putin usually does, to show the support for his candidate, that is Bashar al-Assad. Starting with Senator Washington, what's your position about Bashar al-Assad government, and what is your position about the civil war in Syria? You have 1 minute and a half.
I think the original objective of the United States in Syria was the full political transition from criminal terrorist rule by family and entourage to a consensual, legitimate system featuring rule of law. But after the defeat of ISIS and the current Black Lives Matter protests in America and the divide in America, I feel like the American government should focus on winning over and uniting their people as one before they can focus on winning wars or creating peace outside of America. I'm a firm believer of creating peace inside of your own nation first before you can create peace for the rest of the world.
Thank you, Senator Washington. Your position was quite clear. Governor Campbell, more or less the same question for you. What's your position about this crisis? Who do you support? What would you make as US president? You have 1 minute and a half.
As US president, the first thing we want is that peace comes back in Syria. What we need to do is they need to have a proper election. The dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad needs to stop because it's just a dictator. And this world can't have dictators modern day. And the biggest problem is he is a dictator, and that needs to stop. We need legal elections that are regulated by the United Nations, so we can provide proper elections that go fair, and they need to be checked by the United Nations, so we can bring back the peace between all the groups. Syria is a beautiful country, and we need to return to that beautiful country so tourists can return there and the peace is back in Syria. So I support the people that want to have legal elections, that want to have peace in Syria, and I don't support a dictator.
Thank you, Governor Campbell. Congressman Veranos, what is going to be your policy regarding Russian intervention in Syria and eventually in other countries in the world? What is going to be your position regarding this, and what's your actual opinion about Vladimir Putin? You have 1 minute and a half.
Ideally, we would have a fair democratic system in Syria, but the most important thing for us is to not have al-Assad as a leader. We don't tolerate someone, and we shouldn't tolerate someone who is willing to use chemical weapons against its own citizens, and that is just that's just disgraceful to the world that there's someone that is willing to do that. As we have come closer and closer to defeating ISIS, I think our objective in Syria has nearly been achieved, and I think it's not necessarily our problem, the civil war.
Thank you, Congressman Veranos. And this part is, as I told over after this. Thank you, Senator, for remembering me of this topic. But I think we will continue directly to the debate part, if you don't oppose it. If you want 5 minutes, I can also give it. It's up to you.
I honestly thought there was a commercial break in between.
Yeah, I can do a commercial break. I will just put some publicity out there, and just it's fine. Let me search for some.
Okay.
We can have a little talk here.
Yeah.
Let me just a moment, and I will stop it for a commercial break, and we can have a small talk and just come back in 10 minutes. Let me put here. Okay. Just a moment. Okay, I didn't have this prepared, but now I think I do.
can I ask Governor
Okay.
John Campbell a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you just declare war upon Assad and Putin?
I didn't declare war.
You kind of did. You said
I
you
declared
weren't going to allow
I
them
want
being in.
legal elections, and tonight, together with the United Nations, we need to solve. the
But
problem.
how? How are you going to do that? You can't just. Okay.
And we are back. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the ad about Monopoly Socialism. I think it's the best Hasbro game ever. And we will go starting off with our debate. And the first topic I want to ask you about, and I will start with Governor Campbell. The first topic will be Black Lives Matter and racism. Black Lives Matter has been one movement that polarized America. There are a lot of people that is in favor, and there is a lot of people that is against this movement because they think the movement is violent. But they think these remembers of the famous Black Panthers of the 90s and the 80s and the 90s, and this has polarized America. Do you think Black Lives Matter is a good thing for America? And you have 1 minute and a half to answer. And everyone, and the other can tell me to stop, and I will give you the word. Okay?
The point of Black Lives Matter is the point that they want to make is very important. We are all equal. I don't support the thing that they make war, that they are destroying things. That's a point I don't support, but I support their point that they are trying to make. All people in America are equal, no matter if you're black, white, Latino, don't matter. We are all the same. We're all humans, and we need to live together as one nation, united. We need to work on that, but we don't want a civil war among us, and we don't want that the United States are polarized. We want a united United States. And that's the problem that the previous president created. He polarized the whole of the United States. Meanwhile, we as Democrats, we want a united America. If I would become a president, I want to be a president for all the people of America, not the few that support me or vote for me. I want everyone supporting me. I want to support everyone, not only the one that vote for me. That's important for me.
Thank you. Senator Washington, you are black and probably the only African American we have. No, not probably. You are the only African American we have in this debate. So, what's your opinion about Black Lives Matter? Do you think the methods are right? Do you think the ideas are right? What do you think about it?
I think the ideas behind the Black Lives Matter movement are 100% right. The methods used are not. The methods and the people who share the ideas are not the same. I feel like you have one group that uses the wrong methods for their own personal gain, and then you have the people protesting who have a good idea of how to change a nation. You gotta stand up and change a nation. Obviously, during this pandemic, it wasn't a good time to protest and gather around, but it was necessary. There's no one who can say it wasn't necessary. The killing of George Floyd was unjustified and unnecessary. The fact that 5 white police officers stood around and just looked at it without interfering while a man said, "I can't breathe," is of injustice. We can't let this continue and we have to make a stand, and the people of America did. I personally heard what they were trying to say. I want to be their voice, but not only their voice, I want to be the voice of everybody who feels discriminated or hated, or everybody in the minority, whether you're gay, homophobic, not homophobic, whether you're gay or
Oh my God.
transgender or like black, Asian, it doesn't matter to me. I'm the voice of all of you, and I will support all of you in making America a place for everyone to unite and stand together.
Thank you, Senator. Congressman Veranos, do you think American institutions like the police are racist?
I think there needs to be serious investigations in the way people get trained, the way people lead. I think our police force is too. It's too overtrained. They get told things that make them anxious where they shouldn't be. They should be the calm force in basically any conversation, in basically any action. And I think that is definitely an area that we as a nation need to improve, because we shouldn't be treating people differently just because of their ethnicity.
Okay, thank you. Governor Campbell, your opinion. Is the police in America racist?
I wouldn't say racist. I would say the same point as Senator Veranos is making. Congressman Veranos is making. It's that they are overtrained in the way they need to treat hard. They need to intervene harsh, and that's the problem. They need to stand closer to the people. They need to be among the people, so they don't create a thing that's the other people think it's a force. If the police is there, that you have to be afraid that you're gonna be killed or something like that, because that's the problem we are just now making. It's not only against black people they do such crimes, they are also doing it against white people. They are just shooting with no reason many times, and that needs to be investigated, because the shooting of people is very, very wrong, and we need to work on to solve this problem with other things than just shooting someone down. Because you remember the images of the guy being shot down 7-8 times. that should be solved with one shot in the legs could be solved, or with a taser, but not with such violence that someone can be killed. And that's the big problem that is right now. They are trained to kill, it seems, and we need to solve that problem. They don't need to kill people. We need to unite the people, and the police needs to be united as well with our American people, and that's the thing we need to work on.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Washington, before you were senator, you were the governor of California during 8 years, and I want to ask you an important question. During these 8 years, criminality in California didn't rose but maintained stable, while in the previous 8 years it actually fell to half. So your criminality rate in California was not very good during your term. Do you know why, first of all, and second of all, what would you do differently as President of the United States?
Obviously, criminality can't be decided by laws only. It's depending on different variables. Unfortunately, in my time as governor, criminality rose because of the more accessible and the bare accessibility to weapons. The introduction of drugs being easier to obtain. That was the main reason why criminality rose during my time as a governor. We had to improvise and come up with strategies to be able to counter the upcoming crime rate. And we did. We maintained to keep it stable. But it wasn't as easy as the previous years, because there were a lot of new crimes happening. As the President of the United States, I'm prepared on things that have yet to happen, and things of the past. I'm prepared to have countermeasures for every single crime possible.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll just start a small round of questions, so you can, but you can only answer yes or no. Senator Washington, as President of the United States, would you impose a ban on assault weapons? Yes or no?
I would not impose a complete ban on assault weapons, no.
Thank you. Congressman Veranos, same question.
No.
Governor Campbell, same question.
Yes.
Thank you. Regarding criminality, do you think that restricting the access to weapons would reduce significantly the criminality rate in America? Senator Washington.
Can you come again?
The reducing the access to weapons would reduce the criminality in America?
I don't think so, no.
Thank you.
I think the roots are much deeper than accessibility.
Okay, thank you. Congressman Veranos?
I think the ban of assault weapons would definitely reduce crime rates in the USA, yes.
What?
Governor Campbell?
Didn't you just say something completely different?
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, what was the question?
You did.
I would say it would reduce the crime rate, so yes, it would do.
Thank you.
Yeah, but no. Can I just talk about my answer?
Yes,
then?
you can.
You're reducing it to yes or no questions. Yeah. So you're asking me, would I impose a ban on assault rifles? I mean, yes, I would like to. I just don't think it's realistic to actually get that through, and that it will actually succeed.
All right.
Okay. I also want to elaborate my answer. I don't think a complete ban on assault rifles is the right way to go. I think the availability of assault rifles should lower. The regulations on getting assault rifles should be much stricter and much more difficult to attain. The complete ban of assault rifles is not necessary as long as we can regulate the restrictions and the accessibility of it.
Thank you, Senator and Governor. Just changing a little the debate for healthcare. In the Democratic Party, there are two big views right now about healthcare. There is one view that wants to to expand Medicare, to expand the famous Obamacare, giving more people the access to this, and there is a new way that defends an universal healthcare in a more European style model, more like the British system or the French system of healthcare.
The Belgium system.
Do you support which one of the two views, Governor Campbell?
I support the European one. It's because the European one is open to everybody, so everybody can get the same thing, and they pay the same, all the same amounts, and they get the same way they are treated, and no more the rich gets treated and the poor don't.
Thank you, Congressman Veranos.
I am heavily in favor of universal healthcare. Of course, within universal healthcare, you should be able to get different amount of coverage, but with a good baseline where everyone will be treated for things that are life-threatening and affect life quality.
Thank you, Senator Washington.
I also support universal healthcare. I feel like everybody deserves to have universal healthcare. Obviously, there's different extents to where you'd use it, and there's obviously people who need it more than others. But universal healthcare is definitely a necessity in 2020.
Thank you. I think more or less it was clear that you three have more or less the same opinion about this. And I will just finish this debate part with something that you touched a lot during these last days of campaign, and also that you talked already in the debate, that is national unity. Are you prepared to make agreements with the Republicans to pass laws, to pass new amendments to old laws, to change things? Or do you think the way you are going to rule, or the easiest way you are going to govern the country, is basing your agreements exclusively in the Democratic Party and with the Democratic senators and the congressmen? Governor Campbell.
We need to be united, so we need to make agreements as well with the Republicans, so we can reunite all of America, so we can be all together, and we need to make a united America, and that can be done if you just push through all your points that you want. We need to make compromises between two parties, and that's the most important thing, so we don't get polarized again. So what happened under the previous president, he wanted all his points, he didn't want to discuss, and we need to discuss these things and make agreements, and that's the point we need to make and get our United States forward again.
Congressman Veranos, same question. Would you try to do agreements with the Republican parties? And an additional question, what points of your program you think you are going to be able to do agreements with the Republican Party?
I would hope that we will be able to work with the Republican Party. I think there is definitely issues where we can help each other a little, and that we can show a good example to the rest of America that there is always a way to reach across the aisle to that person at work that you don't like, to that person in your family that you just don't really have that click with, and issues that we should negotiate with Republicans on. I mean, they will come up as they come up, I think.
Thank you, Congressman. Senator Washington, same question. Republicans, what's your opinion? How can you get along with them? How can you do agreements with them? It's your position is being quite clear against the Trump presidency, but how would you find some agreement with the Republicans?
I personally don't think Republicans are defined by Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a rotten apple in a bunch. Obviously, I want to be a president for the United States, a better United States, Democrats and Republicans, black people, Asian people, white people. It doesn't matter to me. If it's for the better of America, I'm willing to work together with whoever I need to work together with. I'm the voice of the people. I'm not going to be in the house for my own personal benefit. I want to benefit the citizens of America and the citizens of America only.
Thank you, Senator. And with this, I finish the debate part. So I will give you the last golden minute where I hope you can define your presidency, what is going to be your presidency, and I hope you can define why should people vote for you and not for one of the other candidates that we have here tonight, and of course that we don't have here tonight. So why should people vote for you, and what will define your presidency in case you get the White House? You have 1 minute, and it starts with Congressman Veranos.
Oh god. You should vote for me because we are going to strive to make America a great place again, and with America we're going to strive to make the world a great place to have your children grow up in, to be proud to be in, and to see real progress, and that should just speak to everyone. I think we all grew up on the road, and we have seen things that we wouldn't want to see, and I want to improve everyone's experience.
Thank you, Congressman. Gold minute now for Senator Washington.
Washington, a descendant of former President George Washington and the former Governor and Senator of California. In my career as a politician, I've been known to be a firm supporter of a better healthcare system and educational system. I'm joking, man. I have passed multiple good laws for a better healthcare system in my time as Governor and Senator of the United States, and that will be my main focus on my campaign. Make sure everybody in America gets the healthcare they need. I will also make the educational system much better to fight racism and to unite the people of our country.
Thank you, Senator Washington. The same question for Governor Campbell. Governor Campbell, why should people vote for you, and what will a Campbell presidency do to America and to the world?
I, John Campbell, I want to unite the people. I want a safe place of America where we can be on the streets. We don't have to be scared to go on the streets. And also a greener America, because the climate change is a real threat, and it's one of the most important things that's now being there and also coming up for our students and the economics. One thing I want to prove is the state of Pennsylvania is one of the safest states in the United States, with a 3.1 instance per 1,000 people. That's lower than the national rate is in the United States. So I did my good job in Pennsylvania, lowering crime rates. I want to do it in the whole of America, and also make a greener world so we can be on this planet for many, many more years, and on a normal planet with no climate change, with the climate back to normal, no snow in the summer, and that sort of things. So we need to work on that.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. It's over for today. I hope you there at home could make an idea after hearing these three candidates who is the one that you like the most. I hope you vote as an informed person in the next primaries, and the Democratic Party needs to have a strong candidate, so please be aware of the policies of each one and decide to your future, to your what kind of candidate do you want to the presidency. For my part, thank you all. Thank you to Governor Campbell, Congressman Veranos, Senator Washington. See you soon. I hope in the next debate we have a more clear political scene to define the future of America. Thank you. Until